My name is Ben Guy. I've just finished my first year at Cambridge University and I'm studying Anglo-Saxon, Norse and Celtic.
I'm Joe Taylor and I'm a second year ASNC student.
My name's Moa Hoyer and I'm a mature student at ASNC in second year.
I'm a third year. I'm studying primarily Irish material.
I'm from Australia and I am in my first year of a PhD.
My name's Eric. I am a third year PhD student writing a thesis on Anglo-Latin hagiography.
The thing is, you can choose from everything from history to literature, and like everywhere from Scandinavia to kind of Ireland to Britain.
There's this option to learn various languages, literature, history, archaeology, all these elements, and it's arranged sort of by culture rather than necessarily any of these particular disciplines.
I studied Anglo-Saxon history, Insular Latin language and literature, Old English, Scandinavian history, Brittonic history, and later medieval Latin, Middle English and Middle French.
Because it's so interdisciplinary, if there's something that you don't know about in a field that's not quite related to your own but might be relevant, there is someone here who will. Whether you go into the ASNC common room and ask the other students who are sitting there, or whether you ask one of the academics within the department, there's always someone that can answer your questions.
The reason why I've ended up studying Anglo-Saxon, Norse and Celtic is because basically I was doing a Chaucer module, like a medieval literature module within like English at school, and when I came to apply to university, I applied for English at most places, but my school has said, you know, you're very, very interested in this, why don't you just kind of, you know, apply and see what happens, because, you know, you're very interested in medieval literature. So
I was very worried about coming here, but when I got here, it was sort of like coming home in a way, because everyone in the department was so welcoming. It's a really friendly department. It's not very hierarchical. The MPhils, the PhD students and the undergrads all tend to be friends and socialise together.
I was nervous for applying here because, like I said before, I was very interested in the subject matter, in the period and the kind of territories you covered, but I wasn't nervous about doing the languages. It's always been something I felt that, because I didn't do any further than GCSE level, that it was one of those things which I might not have been, you know, as good at. I think the thing is, even if you are nervous for that, it could be advice just to go for it because of the support you have here. And in terms of the flexibility of the course, you can do as little or as much language as you want. So you could do as many as 4 languages if you wanted to, or you could do maybe just 1 in the first year and maybe swap it in the second year for an archaeology paper or whatever else takes your fancy. So there's really nothing to be worried about if you're nervous about that languages.
This is a poem from the Poetic Edda, which is one of the main texts that you study in Old Norse, and it's called Helga Kvíða Hundingspanna Önnur, which is the second poem about Helgi, the slayer of Hunding. And this is the last scene where his lover Sigrun comes to Helgi's grey mound after he's been killed, and she's tried to bring him back to life because she can't stop mourning. And he tells her to stop mourning and move on because he needs to go into the afterlife, into Valhalla. And one night she comes there and finds that he has moved on and realises that she's alone and that she needs to move on as well. Hún kvað, komin væri nú, ef koma hyggði, Sigmundar byr frá sölum Óðins. Kveðek gránstýnig, græna svanir, á asklímum ernir sitja og drífur drátt öll draumþinga til.
I've been learning Latin, and it's the only language I can really get on with, and it's one I really love. And so as a way of actually combining 2 of my favourite subjects, Anglo-Saxon history and Latin, and that's what I'm still doing now.
In terms of what we actually learn in Celtic philology, which is Celtic linguistics, which I've been doing this year, we learn about the various continental aspects of that, so about ancient Gaul, ancient Italy, Roman influences. There are certainly wider European aspect.
I mean, ultimately what we're studying is people and how they thought and how they reacted to the world that they lived in, and that's something that's quite universal and cuts across national boundaries and across time.